So guys, we're gathered here in Arras Memorial to listen. I heard some of this when this came around going, the names. The way I would turn around and say is that I'm able to tell you the story of these casualties, but every single name that you have here, there's history behind it. There's a family tale. It was a husband, it was a son, it was a brother, it was a mother. And they're all family tales. When we came in, someone was left, this gets for one of the casualties. I turned and say somewhere in the family, that soldier with us, it's maybe this is what essentially all the rest of the just our family. And a lot of these guys as well, when we go down into the Somme battlefields, we'll talk about our Victoria Cross recipients, people who made the ultimate sacrifice, the most extreme bravery in the field, and got recognised for that with the Victoria Cross. Sometimes when I walk about these places, the memorials they're missing, I look up and down the walls and I go, how many stories of bravery happened, but no one survived to tell the story.
These are all no graves.
All no graves. It could be in a cemetery that says unknown soul, but they have no record.
The real thing that cross will be buried on the farm streets.
Historians will tell you that 50% probably have a grave. That's not to say that you could go to one memorial and have only 50% here. They try to say that if we put all the memorials to the missing. So when we're driving across the country today, I think that we're going across soldiers that are on the battlefield still being involved. The way to look at it is when they built the motorway near View Ridge, they found soldiers. That's still yet to be found, and there is soldiers still out there. We found out the story of relatives here that's with us, that how they were identified by the guys on the Somme, because it was a disc that he had. He was able to identify it. And if you say just, let's say, 100 metres to the left was another soldier, he was unidentified because there was no disc. So we're at the graveside, the memorial for Walter Tull. Walter Tull, the soldier that signed for Rangers, and never got to play for Rangers. The war came along. Had he survived, he would have been playing for Rangers. So he was a Rangers player and never got out on the field because of the war. Believed to be one of the first black officers. And not only that there, can you imagine the abuse? I've spoken to some legends who were on premiership and what it was at the time, and they were telling me some of these abuse that they've had at different points. So can you imagine back in the 1900s that someone like this would get commissioned? And as I turn in and says, I think it's alright that we're here today. A lot of Rangers supporters in front of me that we pay tribute and pay homage to Walter Tull. So guys, we're now at the memorial. See memorial that we were with Walter, just around the corner. We have a Celtic player, Peter Johnson, who again, what have they got in common? Sit on the bus. You could turn and say in common they're on the same memorial. Listen. You could turn and say that their common goal was a sport which we all love, which is football. We all get hyped up when there's no fair match, don't we? Rangers and Celtic, we all love it, so we do. But both of them were serving their king and their country, and what they done is they made the ultimate sacrifice for the freedom that we enjoy today. Peter played 233 games for Celtic, scored 18 goals, 13 trophies, so he was very, very successful. Yeah, 4 league titles, 2 Scottish Cups, 3 Glasgow Cups, and 4 Glasgow Charlie Cups.
Really Celtic man, fought the one ball.
I don't need to get back to you on that one, but I can't.
Few, like?
There's a very few. Fair play is sometimes I go out with the veterans from the Arras and other Scottish groups, and within them there's Celtic supporters, and they're very, very into background football. It's just that with any section you always got to be better section. Them guys are playing right, and that's actually an our game badge out, you know what I mean? So that's people coming out who obviously support Celtic ex-soldiers, and they want to play in Olympics. So I'm going to hand over to yourself for a wee solo. During the solo, there's going to be a poppy cross laid. We're going to remember Peter, Walter, and all the footballers. In this memorial, I could spend maybe 2 hours remembering different football players. It's amazing, isn't it? Many's on this.
Do you want two clubs of football?
Yes. Sergeant Edwards. So it didn't matter how brave you are, if your body's not found, your body's not found. And simply how we know he's a Victoria Cross recipient. We have these saved. So guys, we want to move over and tell you the story, a tragic story of a footballer whose career would be ruined Even though he was out in France and Flanders fighting, the FAA would not drop the charges. So we'll just go on over to Sandy Turnbull's. Can everyone, if you go up this panel here, you see Lance Corporal?
Yeah.
You go up, you see Corporal?
Yeah.
You go up again, you see LC Sergeant, Lance Sergeant?
Yeah.
If you start going down, do you see where it says Turnbull?
Yeah.
So that's a casualty there that we're dealing with. So ask for a wee bit of best order there for Captain Facility.
By May 1917, Turnbull had been appointed Lance Sergeant and was preparing to take part in the British Spring Offensive east of Arras that had begun on the 9th of April. The 8th East Series were to assault the northern approaches to the village of Chertsey as part of a series of attacks to become known as the Third Battle of the Scarp. 0R was set for 0345. The attack itself initially provided some success, with the village reportedly falling into British hands during the first hours of the assault. There followed some better fighting. However, Chertsey would soon be back under German control. Word remained until captured by Canadians in August 1918. It was during the confusion of this early morning fight that Lance Sergeant Turnbull would go missing. While it was unclear what happened to Turnbull, a letter was sent to his wife by a soldier soon after the battle, which was subsequently published by the Liverpool Echo on the 14th of May 1917. It read, "After Alec had been wounded, he carried on and led his men for a mile, playing the game until the last we saw of him. We all loved him, as he was a father to us all and the most popular man in the regiment. All here send our deepest sympathy." There was some initial hope that Turnbull had been taken prisoner, with early reports suggesting he was in a German field hospital behind the lines. Hope soon faded, however, and it was later confirmed that the 32-year-old footballer was missing, presumed killed. He left a widow and 5 children. In August 1918, Captain Lonergan, who had been wounded and taken prisoner during the attack, wrote to Turnbull's wife Florence in an effort to provide further details about the circumstances surrounding her husband's death. It was a great shock to me to hear that my best NCO was still missing. Of course, I knew there was no hope of him turning up after such a long period. He was one of the finest fellows I have ever met, a great sportsman and as keen a soldier as he was a footballer. He had been hit through the leg early on in the fight. When I saw him, his leg was very much swollen, so I ordered him back to the dressing station. He pleaded so hard, however, to stay on until we gained our objectives that I gave away. Sandy was in command of a platoon held out to ensure the survival of the organisation that would later become the Professional Footballers Association, PFA. Soon after, United left Bank Street and moved to a new stadium at Old Trafford, where Turnbull scored first ever goal in a 4-3 loss to Liverpool. 12 months later, United were to clinch their second league title in 4 seasons as they finished 1 point ahead of Aston Villa. It was another impressive season for Turnbull as he struck 18 league goals, including 13 in the opening 17 games. For Manchester United, however, the title success of 1910-1911 would prove to be their last before the First World War. Furthermore, it also marked the end of Ernest Mangnall's long association with the club. In 1912, he would leave Old Trafford to take over as boss of neighbours Manchester City. Turnbull was to play one more significant part in the early history of English football, however. At the end of the 1914-15 season, he was one of 7 players found guilty of taking part in an illegal betting ring involving a game between Manchester United and Liverpool at Old Trafford. The match was played on Good Friday, 2nd of April 1915, proved to be the last of Sandy Turnbull's professional football career, and he was handed a lifetime ban by the FA soon after. F300. Yeah?
Yeah, well, round of applause for that. Was absolutely so, there's Sandy there, and the sad thing is that the FA, although he was over here, fighting for King Country, would not overturn it. That was Man United, Liverpool, and back then, I can remember that a footballers were all around. It's scary, isn't it? It's really, really scary what footballers were all around. But back then, we weren't all very much. So what they done is, maybe they thought, hold on, let's do a wee bet on here. They get a few plays, it's going to pay for a few things. I remember the thing, several got a lifetime ban. You've actually heard that he was the most likable fella within the battalion. No doubt at all, he played all against him. Can you imagine being in a trench going, so like, what was it like to play with? You know what I mean? Jimmy Spears, what was it like to play with? So he knew the law, so there was always a great football tale that Sandy had to tell his troops. You have to remember one thing, and we talked about this yesterday. What did the guys do outside the trenches? They done training. Maybe caught up with a wee bit of rest. They were on, maybe bringing food up to the front, digging trenches. But football was a great recreation sport. And can you imagine that team sheet? Who was always going to be first on the team sheet in that time? Sandy. The sad story to this as well, not only his professional career to be told by the FA, and I don't know what the FA, if it's too late now, overturn these guys dead now, to make before the other ones, the other six that were part of that, they were overturned, but his wife and 5 kids. You heard Jim talk about trying to get information to his wife. As a historian, when I research and when you look at the papers, some of the stuff that you're hearing, especially after the Battle of the Somme, especially for local people, is, has anyone seen my son? Colin, has anyone seen my husband? Doing that kind of thing, any information whatsoever. And these people really held deep feelings inside that maybe, just maybe, their husband, their brother, their son, was maybe taken captive and was a prisoner of war. Then, as time went on, they had no correspondence. And these people were really desperate to know what happened to my son, what happened to my husband, what happened to my uncle, what happened to my brother. And that's why people were ready to say, look, the last time he saw somebody, he was shot through the leg. You probably think, well, that's his. He didn't have a football career, but that's his football. Only so many footballers were actually shot through the leg. Even though he actually went to the keeper last night, and still went on to be able to keep off the goal. So it wasn't just the end. Then we look at Richard Kraken, one of the 7 trophy winners for Linfield, who was wounded, seriously injured in the Somme. Hotstop came back and was part of that trophy winning team. So just trying to get that wee bit of information, and that's why that officer wrote back to get me. So, okay, is that right? And during, well, a couple of poppy crosses. Because it really is, as I said these at the very start here, guys, it's a tragic story, isn't it? Listen, we shouldn't have put it back. There are many things in life that we've done, and afterwards you've sort of regretted it. And you have to remember then, back then, it's not the money that they were on today. We're going to have our wee service just at down at the stone.
Yep.
So this is going to be our act of remembrance. Yes, we have shown the three casualties. But as I said at the start of this talk, that all these graves have personal stories. I wish I could tell you every single one, but unfortunately that's just not possible. So as our act of remembrance, not only are we remembering all the men, all the Arras memorial to the missing, and also to the flying memorial to the missing, we're also going to remember all the soldiers in the cemetery and memorial. I'm going to ask Colin to play during that guide with us. People with puppy crosses. Just put the puppy cross where you think you want to put it. And then George will then come up and then we ladies and gentlemen, I call for 1 minute silence in memory of all them soldiers who gave their yesterday for our today. The days should not grow old, but we who are left grow old. Age should not weary them, nor the years of them. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Thank you guys.